large-scale devastating earthquake is going to hit several countries, several 100,000 people affected. Large-scale devastating is what scientists are saying, and it's not on the hazard map. Nobody even knows about it. Speaking of the residents that will be affected. Critical infrastructure, guys, absolutely crazy. Hi everyone, I hope you're doing great wherever you are, and I bet you will not guess this one where this is. I'm not talking about the New Madrid fault, I'm not talking about the Cascadia fault, not about the San Andreas fault or anything else that you might think of. But the experts are warning that a hidden earthquake threat beneath North America could strike at any moment, guys, and they mean it, at any moment, and it could catch many people by surprise. And an earthquake by surprise is never good, because if people don't think they're in earthquake territory, their buildings are not prepared, they are not prepared. A previously quiet fault line beneath North America is now feared to be a ticking time bomb, and experts are giving dire warnings that it could unleash a devastating earthquake without a warning and shaking parts of the US. Do you have a guess? I already ruled quite a few out that can do something like this. The Cascadia fault, mega thrust earthquake, magnitude 9 or even higher. Not that one. San Andreas fault that is overdue. No, not that one. New Madrid, no, not that one. So it was the Canadians. Canadian scientists have discovered that the Tintina fault. Have you heard about that, guys? Be honest. Let me know in the comment. The Tintina fault is located just 12 miles from Dawson City in the Yukon. It has been silently building up underground pressure and may be on the verge of erupting in a massive quake. And now the people in the US might say, okay, that's Canada. No, guys, it's not so easy. Wait a minute. That fault runs beneath highways, rivers, and critical infrastructure. That makes it so dangerous on the one side, and it stretches into interior Alaska, USA, and it's raising fears that it could send tremors even into British Columbia, Canada, into Alberta and Montana, according to seismologists. So this is not only a Canadian problem. It's maybe a made in Canada problem, but it affects several other areas. Dr. Michael West, he's a state seismologist at the Alaska Earthquake Center, has given an interview, and he said, quote, "This new study shows it has been quietly building towards a potentially large earthquake." Quietly, no one was aware. They just conducted a study and then, oopsie, here it is. Now, Shizzy might hit the fizzy pretty soon. That's never good. Especially not when it's so widespread. Montana, would you think that you have a problem with a devastating earthquake that might reach you? Not really, right? Unless Yellowstone blows up big time, then a lot of states will have a problem. So unfortunately, the Tintina fault sounds kind of nice, doesn't it? It's one of the least studied fault systems in North America, so they don't really know that much about it. That makes it even more unpredictable and more dangerous. And what the scientists made clear, that needs to change ASAP. We need to start to study this as fast as we can. So there's different section of the Tintina fault, and one section is approximately 81 miles long, and that section alone could generate a 7.5 magnitude earthquake or greater or bigger. and strong enough to shatter the roads, to destroy pipelines in that area. Money makers. Trigger landslides across both Canada and the US. So this could wreak havoc really, really big time. That's why the researchers are warning the consequences could be devastating if that fault breaks. Especially since the Tintina fault has been largely overlooked compared to all the other faults that I have mentioned earlier, right? Like 750-mile long San Andreas fault, everyone knows about that one. So now everyone looks at Cascadia and San Andreas and is scared, and then the other one blows up everything. So this Tintina fault could break in quite a long stretch. It could break along more than 109 miles, causing strong earthquakes in the northern US communities, including Alaska, in Fairbanks, North Star Borough, potentially impacting in that area alone 125,000 people. And it's in close proximity to other faults. You see it here on the map. There's the Denali fault. So maybe they could trigger each other like a chain reaction that could be equally as bad or even worse. But let's talk about the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. This potential earthquake could significantly affect this critical infrastructure, particularly for those living in remote areas that have limited earthquake preparedness or emergency response capabilities if Shizzy's hitting the fizzy. Who's going to help in these remote areas? One of the lead authors of this new study from the University of Victoria in Canada and British Columbia said, the fault may be at a late stage of a seismic cycle. That is nicely said. That means it could blow. He further said, it has quietly built up about 20 inches of slip that could be released in a single catastrophic event. And the fault has been hiding in plain sight since it was discovered in 1912. So they've known about it since 1912, but haven't followed up, it seems. Geologist J.B. Tyrrell has documented the existence of this fault in the Yukon Territory based on his geological surveys. So why didn't they look closer? Did they think this is local? Were they not aware how far this could affect other provinces, countries? And suspiciously, that's what the scientists are saying. It stayed suspiciously quiet while others are rumbling once in a while. So that's why probably it was overlooked by quake monitors and also doesn't really show up in hazard maps. That's another problem. If you don't see it on the hazard map, you think, oh, where would I move? Where there is no natural disaster, where I'm safe from all that stuff. You look at all the hazard maps and it's just not there. You build a house there, you sit in your garden, and then boom, right? Not good, because probably you haven't built your house to any earthquake codes because you thought that this is safe territory. And you might not be the only one, and we're pretty sure you're not. Same goes for infrastructure. By the way, guys, I just released a video about Campy-Flegris. I mean, they already built an old railway tunnel that is in use, but was severely damaged by the last magnitude 4 earthquake. It's closed. But they built a new one right next to it with the same shitty statics, it seems. So not able to shake with the earthquakes, not able to withstand the earthquakes, no codes. So that also the new one that is still under construction, guys, has been severely damaged already. Can you believe that? Crazy. I'll put that video in the end screen. Check it out. But let's get back to that Tintina fault. So suspiciously silent while others rumbling. Others are rumbling. But scientists are now saying it's mature, guys. It's ready. That's what's so concerning. It's a slow-moving fault, the kinds that can stay quiet for thousands of years before it's suddenly unleashing in a powerful, devastating earthquake. And it seems that's what's at the front door. I don't really like it. It will affect me as well. And what the scientists are saying, the most dangerous thing is not just that the fault is active. So what then? Right? You want to ask. Okay, here's the answer. Here's the second part of the scientist's sentence. It is that no one's been paying attention to it. Yeah, I fully agree. Let's get a little bit more specific with the infrastructure. So this Tintina fault in the Yukon could pose a hazard to the Klondike area of Canada. It's in the Klondike region of the Yukon, to be precise. And we know previously unrecognized hazards for the communities that are right there. We talked about the far reach. And now the researchers are saying that specifically the ground beneath Yukon's Klondike may be far less stable than once believed. Dawson City, guys, it has flown under the radar. Dawson City is less than 15 miles away from a section of the Tintina fault. That section of which researchers say it could produce these large earthquakes strong enough to shake the city and can damage the city's key road and also nearby mining operations. Could damage the Klondike and Dempster highways, vital arteries for these communities, potentially cutting off Dawson City and the nearby communities from critical access routes. Those are really, really critical for these remote communities. But that's not all. We could see landslides that could be triggered from this earthquake. They could be really, really worse if geological events that are caused by shifting formations will occur there. The Moose Height slide that is just north of Dawson and the newly identified Sunnydale landslide directly across from the Yukon River, they both show signs of instability. They could be triggered by that. So they found, just in a study in 2025, new geological hazards in Yukon's Klondike region. The Yukon Geological Survey has done that. So the fault lines that they have mapped now in this new study, they run southeast from Dawson City, they cut across a stretch of the Dempster Highway, and then traces through Flat Creek, where ancient glacial deposits revealed evidence of these past powerful rupturing earthquakes. And then, stretching southeast from Dawson City, the fault lines cut across a 100-mile corridor of the Yukon wilderness, where researchers are saying million-year-old glacial landforms bear the scars of these past earthquakes. So the study about this Tintina fault was published in the Geophysical Research Letters, and this study found that part of ancient glacial landforms have shifted sideways by nearly 3,200 feet. 3,200 feet. Clear evidence of powerful past earthquakes. And by the way, I'll put that in the end screen too. Now there's 2 videos in the end screen already that you have to watch. And how do you do this? You subscribe, guys. You go to my start page, click on videos, and then click on recent. Then you'll find them all. But the one that I'm mentioning now is a few weeks old. For the first time on CCTV camera, they captured this magnitude 7.7 earthquake, and they captured how the ground shifts. So let's say you stand here, your friend stands here, and then you see the ground cracking and you suddenly stand apart. You see it in this video, and this video is mind-blowing because at first I didn't realize it. I looked at cracks in the asphalt that happened, but I completely overlooked what was going on in the back of the video. There was stuff falling over. It's an amazing, amazing video, guys. You have to watch it. But let's get back. Tintina fault, because there's more to it. So 3,200 feet, that tells us this must have been groundbreaking. That fits, right? Powerful, powerful, powerful. See this here in this map where they're mixing like old information that they have with new, like super clear land data, and it shows where the fault is, and a close-up map uses drone laser scans and showing a super old terrace, probably 130,000 years old, and then a model guesses the terrace edge slit. And a drone picture is looking northwest, shows the fault line and the terrace edge pushed to the right. So that's basically what you're seeing here. And also you see the fault slicing through super old Flat Creek beds. And models say the fault pushed the Flat Creek edge 4,101 feet right, and a 3D model shows bumpy, stepped up land along that fault line. That must have come from somewhere. And then we look at another drone picture that is looking northwest, and it shows the fault path hidden by thick forests, so you don't really see it that much. So all the researchers had at hand was satellite and drone mapping tools, which have uncovered these scars in the earth that were caused by this fault. Scars in the landscape that show that this fault has ripped open the Earth's surface multiple times, guys. And if you have evidence that it did that multiple times, it will do it again. The last major rupture, they think, was 12,000 years ago. And what's very important, the geologic evidence shows that the land has not shifted in a very long time. And that's not good. That's a sign that the fault has stayed locked and loaded and is now steadily building up pressure and has built up a lot of pressure. According to the scientists, that quiet period is actually the big problem. They're saying we are not good at thinking about things or worrying about things that happen every 12,000 years. We push this in the back of our minds. But the scientists further said over that time, it builds up enough motion, enough stress to create a 7.5 or higher magnitude of a devastating earthquake. And what is the big concern? I just said it hasn't been mapped before. It's not in the hazard maps. It's still not in the hazard maps. Can you believe that? You would think the USGS has it in their hazard map now. So the seismologists are now very concerned because the USGS, the US Geological Survey, they have made a recent, in 2024, an Alaska model, like a modern earthquake hazard map, and it does not treat the Tintina fault as a major risk. Why? It's not even recognized as a distinct earthquake source in any of the official models. But if you look at the landscape that has been surveyed now by scientists, it tells an absolutely different story. So if it's not in that map, how can people who live there know about it? This is worrying. First, that it's there, that we now know what it has produced, what it can produce, and what it seems to be overdue to produce. But also what is worrying, nobody seems to feel the need to inform people about it. And as we learned in the beginning, it's not just local. Parts of Canada and the US will be affected. Critical infrastructure and roads will be affected. This is not happening in the middle of nowhere where it won't affect anything. So I'm spreading the word, guys. This is what I do. If you know someone in these affected areas, spread the word. So if you like the video, guys, subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, check the links here in the description. Buy me a coffee to keep me running, to be on the pulse. I have a buy me a coffee site. I will answer all your messages with a 30-second video message, and you can video back. We can chat with each other, or click the join button, become a supporting member of the channel for behind the scene videos of me. And thank you for your supers that you're sending me here on YouTube, your comments, you're watching. You guys are awesome. Hello to everyone that is new. And if you like, I see you in the next one here in the end screen. You just need to click, then we don't have to say goodbye. See you.